This will be part 2 of my series on mold in the attic. And why is it important? Because it kills deals. People freak out about it. Okay, so first I want to demonstrate where it comes from, why it's a problem. Recall now, my background is that I was 6 years a home inspector. Now I'm a realtor and I see a lot of these things in my transactions. This first photo is just a soffit vent, just to refresh your memory. This is where air enters the attic. It enters down low, goes out through the vents that are positioned near the top of the roof. Okay, so you want as much airflow through the attic as possible, but a lot of houses they don't have the soffit vents, they don't have the air entering, or they have a constriction with not having enough venting at the top of the roof. Okay, so what then ultimately happens is that you have a buildup of humidity from the occupants breathing, showers, cooking, what have you. All the humidity goes up to the attic, and if it's not removed, then you start first seeing bacteria and then ultimately fungi, and fungi are the real problem. And there's only a few percentage of fungi that cause the issues that people freak out about. Second photo, you can see it's an older house that has no soffit, so it's set up for a problem just straight away from construction. The lower part of that picture has a tiny soffit, so there is some room there where somebody could come in with a saber saw, cut some holes, and allow some air to enter the attic. Otherwise, you got to put roof vents down low on the roof line to allow air into the attic, and virtually nobody ever does that. Okay, so this picture of the 3 roof vents, these are my favorite type of roof vents. These are not the cheap ones. These are the best ones that you can get. Roofers don't like having to cut and trim around, put shingles around all these different holes. So they've gone to ridge vents, and everybody thinks ridge vents look really nice. Well, they look nice. It's just too bad they don't work, or don't work well. Okay, there's just a very small area at the top, at the very peak of the roof, about ideally 4 or 5 inches wide, but so often it's even less than that, and it's not for a great enough distance. They might do that for 4 or 5 feet, then there's constriction, and then they do it for a few more feet and call it good, and it's just a setup for failure. Now, one way to deal with that is by putting in a power vent. Power vents suck air out of the attic. Good idea, works well, but they have to be installed by a roofer to be watertight, and then on the inside you have to have an electrician hook them up. They run in harsh conditions. They run pretty much all summer, so they usually only last about 10 years. Next picture is of that same power vent. On the inside, they have their own thermostat. The thermostats are usually set around 100 degrees. You can set them where you want. Just know that they're going to run, the fan's going to run all summer, and that's to your benefit, because it also can lower your air conditioning costs. Now, one of the contributing causes to buildup of humidity in the attic is lazy people, handy Andy, Joe homeowner, runs the vent tube from the bathroom fan, which it wasn't built with originally. They put one in, and then they vent it into the attic and just throw more humidity, gasoline on the fire. Okay, I see this quite a bit where that vent protector, that's actually styrofoam, is just not adequate. So you see bacteria and fungi growing all the way around it. The number one reason for a buildup or for lack of airflow, poor airflow, is that people blow insulation or roll insulation over the vent. And they don't know that they're not supposed to cover that. They don't know that there's supposed to be good airflow. They cover it, and then it's just a matter of time. It's a ticking time bomb. Disconnected vent tubes, also something I used to see quite a lot. If they just run that tube up to a roof vent, that might actually be all you have to do. Like I said, people aren't taking a shower all day long, so the bigger issue is airflow through the attic. More is better I mean, you can't have too much. And then the next is that's a ridge vent. So you can see on each side of the center beam there is only a couple inches of actual vent, and it's not just open air. There are fibers and filling in there to keep snow and rain from blowing in. So even it just compounds the problem with it not being big enough in the first place, and then you don't have free flow of air to be going forward. Now this is a rather severe situation. I've seen it worse than this, but this is pretty bad. And if you have somebody that's sensitive, when an inspector sees this and points it out to your potential buyer, they're going to have something to say. They're usually going to ask for concessions. But what really needs to happen is the bacteria, the fungi need to be killed, and they make products for it. I mean, I shouldn't say it, but I've actually just used bleach myself in the past. Kill it, paint it, and then fix the problem and fix the reason why it built up in the humidity is building up in the first place. You know, get some more airflow in there. Get end vents. You can put the fans in the wall, on the end wall. We call it a gable end vent. You can add additional roof vents. You can put in more than one power vent, but if you just take care of some of the basics, you may not have to put in a power vent. Okay. Now, in the middle of winter, when you have those days where it's -10, -20, and the humidity is still going into the attic, but it's freezing on the plywood, or we call it plywood. It's that wafer board, and it's called oriented strand board. Okay, it grows mold real well. Okay, so the frost accumulates there, and it's fine until it thaws out, and then sometimes you just see a frost line where it's just, you know, the sun comes out and it's hitting the roof, and the shadows are moving down the roof, and it's just dripping, 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 and ultimately it may not damage the drywall of your ceiling like in your kitchen, but it's going to leave a stain, and you're going to have to repaint the whole ceiling, or usually you have to repaint the whole ceiling. So the easier thing is get some good airflow, and then you're going to have to repaint. All right. In that lower photo, that wood was actually saturated with water. That had been going on for a while. So it's not just a summertime problem, I guess would be my point. Okay, I'm Mike, the Northwest Realtor. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up, give me a comment, follow me on all the different social media. It helps me a lot. I'm the Northwest Realtor, and it's service as if for family. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.